On August 5th, 1918, in a letter to Father Benedito, Padre Pio described an extraordinary experience that occurred while he was hearing confessions. It happened while I was hearing the boys' confessions on the evening of August the 5th. Suddenly I was seized by an intense recollection and was overcome by a great terror at the sight of a heavenly person who appeared before my mind's eye. In his hand he held a kind of long spear with a very sharp point, and the point seemed to be made of fire. At once he hurled it with great force into my soul. I cried out with difficulty because I felt I was dying. I told the boys to leave because I no longer had the strength to continue. This agony continued without interruption until the morning of August 7th, 2 days later. I cannot describe the suffering I endured during those days. My interior seemed to have been torn open by that spear, and everything within me was set ablaze. From that day forward, I have been mortally wounded. Deep within my soul, I feel a wound that remains constantly open and causes me continual suffering. Several weeks later, while praying after celebrating Mass in the choir at San Giovanni Rotondo, Padre Pio experienced the event that he would later describe in a letter dated October 22nd, 1918. On the morning of September 20th, after I had celebrated Holy Mass, I remained in the choir making my thanksgiving. Gradually, I entered a state resembling a gentle sleep. My interior and exterior senses became still. Everything around me and within me was silent, and an indescribable peace filled my soul. Suddenly there appeared before me the same mysterious person who had appeared on August 5th. This time there was one striking difference. His hands, his feet, and his side were dripping with blood. The sight filled me with terror. What I experienced at that moment cannot be described. I believed I was dying, and I would have died had the Lord not strengthened my heart, which seemed ready to burst from my chest. Then the vision disappeared. When I regained awareness, I realized that my own hands, feet, and side had been pierced and were bleeding. Imagine the agony I experienced then, and continue to experience almost every day. The wound in my side bleeds continually, especially from Thursday evening until Saturday. My Father, I am dying from the pain because of the deep torment I feel in my soul. I fear I shall bleed to death if the Lord does not hear my prayer to lessen these outward signs. I do not ask him to remove the suffering itself because I feel that would be impossible. I ask only that he remove the visible marks, since they are for me an unbearable humiliation. I do nothing but humble myself before God, who has worked this mystery in so unworthy a creature. So Paul.
Yes.
Our old buddy, Padre Pio.
Padre Pio's back.
He's back with a vengeance.
Someone has a vengeance.
So I came upon this, and this is one of those things that's kind of interesting because we hear the stories. And in fact, the last time we talked about Padre Pio, we talked about how he had, I forget what it's called, but he had what in the Catholic Church would be described as essentially visible signs of a spiritual encounter.
Yes.
Right? So it was said that he, particularly from Thursday to Saturday and in these holy times, would actually start bleeding from his hands, the palms of his hands, and from his side, as if he had taken on the wounds of Jesus on the cross.
Right. Yes.
And we had talked about that.
Yes.
But if you go back and look at what we just read, which is his actual written account in 1918,
it sounds much different than that story.
It sounds wildly different than that story.
Yes.
And it goes to this whole element of he is hearing the confessions of the boys
Yes.
that are in this convent. And as he's hearing those confessions, in other words, taking on the sin of someone else,
Yes.
he then has a perceived vision
Mm-hmm.
or a visitation, which is interesting how closely related those two words are.
Yes.
A vision and a visitation.
Because they're also very similar.
They are. So it's
Yeah.
like that's one of those things where when you look at it, it's like, well, hang on a minute. And some people have argued that this sounds a lot like a modern day abduction, a modern day encounter with that people would describe with alien beings.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. But this is a Catholic priest.
Yes.
And so when we look at it in light of that and the language that he uses, we wouldn't necessarily assume that there was something that appeared there. However,
Wasn't like a physical manifestation.
a shift into this spiritual realm, a realm shift.
Yes.
That was invading the physical space that he was in and affecting his physical body.
Yeah.
The thing that strikes me about it is that it begins with overwhelming peace and quickly turns to terror.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about you, but any accounts of being in the presence of an angel, a good messenger, or being in the presence of Jesus, or like the presence of God, is usually stops at overwhelming peace and begins with fright.
Yes.
So it usually starts with, oh, what is this?
And you have to be given like, no, you should be peaceful.
You're good.
Don't fear.
And then
Yeah.
peace comes, and then there's usually knowledge given.
Yes.
That's usually what happens. So in this instance, we have overwhelming peace, almost like a sedation,
Yeah.
into a total terror,
Yes.
which does not seem to be of God.
Yeah, it's not. Or it doesn't seem that way.
So,
Because I feel like typically that is, again, it's funny. It's just like the inverse perversion of it, where it's like a lot of those, you could even call it like an astral projection experience.
yeah.
Even though that doesn't sound like what he experienced.
But it was somewhat out of the
But
body.
it was someone in like the astral plane.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I feel like a lot of times when the stories I've seen is like it starts off very nice,
Right.
as sin often does,
Yes.
and then it turns frighteningly horrible
Yeah.
very quickly.
Exactly. And so, okay, so as we look at that, and as I read through that, I was like, that pops up in my mind. The other thing is there was a fiery spear that was thrown directly into his soul and
Yes.
caused him physical pain for multiple days.
Yeah, he said 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just became something that was regularly there. So then in the moment when he actually receives what everybody would know him for, which are the signs of, it turns out that was an extension of this first vision,
Yes.
and the same thing appeared. He doesn't say what it was,
Right.
but he does say it was like a person.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say it was Jesus.
Right.
And he essentially, every time when he's encountering this being, he's in total terror.
Right.
And it's tormenting his soul.
Yes.
He even says, I don't even feel like I can ask the Lord to remove this from me. I simply ask that he removes the visible signs of what's happening in my soul.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit like, okay, but like you might need to have your soul healed.
Right. But he's also a good Catholic, so
What does that mean?
they love suffering.
Fair. But it makes me think of
Yeah.
Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6 talks about putting on the whole armor of God.
Yeah.
But Ephesians 6:16 says, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. The flaming darts of the evil one.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, wait, so there was a flaming spear that went into your soul.
Yeah.
And Paul says in Ephesians 6,
wow,
take up the shield of faith, that you might be able to extinguish any fiery dart of the enemy.
Wow.
So how are we supposed to read Padre Pio's account and not say that's a fiery dart of the enemy?
That's exactly what it sounds like.
I mean, I don't know how it would be anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to try and ask Padre Pio.
No. But you can't.
Fair. But that's...
But you can still see him. He's on display.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I do want to go see it one day. But
yeah, fair.
Morbid curiosity.
Understandable. But isn't that crazy, though?
It's one of those, we've talked about this before, and it's amazing how many things are so on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, it's even when Paul says, do not trust any other gospel, whether it's from me or somebody else or even an angel of light.
Yes.
And yet we have multiple religions that have been founded, and it starts off with they were visited by an angel of light.
Yeah.
And it gave them a new gospel.
Right.
It's like, how is Paul so on the nose
Right.
on that? It's almost too clean.
Yeah, like somehow everything is actually in the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's just that obvious.
Yeah. And it's also like, of course, like if you're taking confession as a priest and there's just this confession, there's just this rolling sin and all the things that people have exposed themselves to in the spiritual space is just being dumped upon you.
Yeah.
It's like if you haven't taken up the shield of faith, then the enemy is going to thrust a fiery dart or spear through your soul.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how else to say that that's what happened.
I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
So, dear friends, take up the shield of faith and maybe stop listening to so many confessions.
Or definitely take up the shield of faith.
Yeah, do that first.
Yeah.
So,
and I would say just bring it up with the big man.
Double check on Padre Pio. We still love you, man.
Yeah, he's still one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I hope I don't know what to say from there. I mean, what do we do? Padre Pio?
This one's for you, Padre Pio.
There you go. 3, 2, 1.